the difficulty of employment after graduation, in that when you finish school, so most people I'm assuming have like student debt or, or at least incentivized to make money because you got this education. And in our field, in business, you're definitely expected to make money and pursue a lucrative career, and to have to have something and to have employment. I feel like we're very blessed. We're very fortunate to be here. Just because I know that not everybody that we graduated with had found opportunity.
Yeah, it's very hard. A lot of people left Humboldt County, so like tomorrow's entrepreneurs are not here to help bootstrap Humboldt County's economy, and help out. It's unfortunate because there isn't a lot of job opportunity out here, so it'd be a waste of time for somebody to get a degree in business, have this great idea, and like it'd be hard to secure a deal or something because the economy out here has just been not in favor right now.
It's honestly been like I've seen all over California because I'm from Ventura County originally, Southern California.
Yeah.
All my buddies from high school were all graduated 1 or 2 years out of school or just graduating, and it's a struggle. There only a fraction of the people that graduate are able to find prominent employment, and it's difficult. And so what ends up happening is people are forced to go into entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. If they can't go out and find employment, they're pushed to make money themselves, and I love it. I'm all here for it. I think it's great. I think that creating money for yourself is a beautiful thing, and the ceiling for having your own business is exponential.
Yep.
So business ownership is small business ownership. I think is a really great thing, and that is what I've really been working a lot on. Is here at the Small Business Development Center, is working with small businesses, working with startups, and just to give a little background on myself, I got my degree in accounting, and my dad was a CPA. And
where did he work?
He now I can say this. He just retired, 27 years in the FBI.
Oh,
yeah.
You weren't allowed to say that?
Probably not on a podcast.
Oh, but now that he's retired.
Now that he's retired, I'm pretty sure I can say it.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
I think. I hope I don't get in trouble.
Yeah, maybe verify that. And if it's verified, you'll obviously hear that it's bleeped out. But if not, then you see it.
Yeah, and so he did like white collar crime. So like the Wolf of Wall Street.
Like embezzlement and stuff.
Yeah, like how like there's like those federal agents that show up on his boat.
Yes.
There's like that one scene and like they kind of get into it and like there's it's a whole scene.
Yeah.
Like that's what he does.
Really, he goes to.
Not in New York though. This was in Westwood. He took a case in Vancouver.
Oh wow.
And then Ventura County was like, where we grew up. So that was
that's cool.
So yeah, and so that embezzlement, fraud, anything white collar, that's what he did. And he was he would just cases would hit his desk and he would build a case, investigate, based on bank statements and whatever information he can get his hands on.
Yeah.
And any whatever information that he can use in court, he builds a case, and eventually, if he feels like the case is good enough, he goes and pursues that.
Dude, that's sick.
A lot of the time, they leave the country.
Yeah. I was gonna say about the CPA thing. My friend, who I've known for almost 10 years now, He just got his CPA license and is working at Deloitte down in Charlotte.
Whoa.
Yeah, so.
That was the one my dad worked at.
Really? At
For like a year.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
He said he was miserable though.
Really?
Yeah.
My friend is having a blast there, and he loved it. Yeah.
I'm sure it's like just your work environment.
Maybe, yeah.
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 Like
shout out to my homie. If you're watching this, bro, I appreciate it heavily.
Calling all entrepreneurs in Humboldt County. This video is brought to you by Startup Humboldt. Startup Humboldt is powered by the NorCal SBDC, Cal Poly Humboldt, College of the Redwoods, and Lost Coast Ventures, and we're building the future right here on the North Coast. Here you'll find an intersection between education, economic development, and community. Every entrepreneur can turn ambition into lasting impact, so whether you've got a new idea, want to launch a podcast, or need space to bring your vision to life, Startup Humboldt is the place. Visit us at 876 7th Street in Arcata. Startup Humboldt, where ideas become action. Let's get back at it.
Deloitte's the big four.
Yeah, it is. I think it's the biggest four now.
Deloitte,
the big one.
KPMG, Pricewater.
Elliott Davis, I think.
No. Deloitte, KPMG, Pricewater, Ernst & Young,
Oh, okay.
EY.
Okay.
Yeah.
EY, yeah.
EY.
Okay, anyways, continue
Yeah.
on, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, so I, following in my father's footsteps, got my accounting degree, and now I'm kind of at a crossroads where I'm like, do I get my CPA? I did a couple tax internships, which me personally, I found taxes very, I didn't like them.
Yeah, there's a debate with that. I think, right? Yeah.
I don't want that to discourage people from taxes, in that I know people that fell in love with taxes, that love it. And so I think that taxes are for some, it's if you're a certain person, and you like a certain, workload, and, it either fits or it doesn't.
Yeah,
and
that's my homie. He's a tax accountant.
Yeah,
and there's a debate between tax and audit, right?
Yeah. Tax is audit is part of tax essentially, but tax would be considered preparing the taxes. Mm-hmm. So at my level, what I did was just preparing a Schedule C.
Yep.
For sole proprietorship.
Yep.
And then auditing it would be, and it depends on who you're auditing for. It's just checking that work. Making sure whoever prepared the taxes didn't screw up.
You review statements and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Hire returns maybe, and obviously investigate the books. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so usually there's a specific reason that they're auditing, but sometimes, and there's internal audits, external audits.
Internal is within the organization, right?
Yeah. So if the organization, if EY is suspicious of a branch, and they don't think the tax preparation services at that branch are up to par for EY, they'll go they'll send out auditors.
Yeah. And then there's external, which is IRS, right?
The IRS would be one. Yeah. IRS is that's the most feared one.
Yep.
They you got to be careful. If you have an IRS agent auditing you, that you're kind of on your toes a little bit.
Yep.
And that's a super popular route. A lot of people in the accounting field go down the IRS route. And
really?
Yeah, in accounting, stereotypically it's people that sounds really boring, and to be honest, it is a little boring. It gets a little bit dull at times.
I personally like it.
Yeah, I got my concentration in it, so I guess I shouldn't be just bashing. I feel kind of bad bashing on it because I'm gonna to speak well on accounting. My tax season internships gave me a great knowledge set of how taxes work, how businesses work on the financial side of things. I learned so many valuable things at the accounting school. Professor Joshua Zender is the chair of the accounting concentration at Cal Poly Humboldt. He's super great. and he taught me so many great things about, you know, the accounting scene. It's the accounting degree offers a lot of opportunity. You know, you're a very optimal candidate for you know, employers, and so that's why a lot of people do it, because they're like, oh, you know, I have to do these tough classes, but at least I'll get a job. And so that was like my mindset, right? Is like, I'm like, okay, you know, I just want to do whatever major is going to get me employment after school.
Have you, quick question, has there been like any scouts from any of the big four firms to come and like scout like you guys out? Like events or anything, or?
Not scouts per se, but I mean, essentially like just guest speakers.
Okay.
So they might have like a guest speaker, and usually it's like alumni. Okay. Like it's somebody that went to Cal Poly Humboldt and is working in a big four, you know, and maybe they have family in Humboldt still, but they're working in the city, and then they come back to see their family, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go guest speak at the school, talk about my big four, and then that's when you get their card and you try to get your foot in the door. So yeah, they're kind of like a scout, you know, essentially.
Has Deloitte ever come here? Is there a Deloitte here, or is that mainly East Coast?
He was like 2 or 3 years out of school my senior year, and it was either Deloitte or EY.
Okay. In
San Diego.
Okay, I know there's an EY where I'm from in San Jose.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, PwC as well.
That's Pricewater.
That's not an accounting firm.
Oh yeah, that's
Pricewater.
Is it PW? Wait, I'm not sure what PW. I think that's Price. Well, I think that's Pricewater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean PwC. Pricewater Corporation. I'm not sure.
I didn't know that they had an extended version of their name. I always just thought it was PwC.
I think they're the same thing.
Oh, okay.
I'll look that up. But
Jamie looked that up.
Yeah. So it's oh yeah, they're the same.
Okay.
Pricewater.
We'll put that up on screen.
PricewaterhouseCoopers. Okay, I gotta remember that Cooper. I feel like it's like the Coopers is just, you know, it's too long to say, so everyone just says Pricewater.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, PwC, and EY, Deloitte, they're all like really good. You know, if you can get a job there, you're gonna get paid, but you're gonna work.
Yeah. So
you have, like, if you really just jump in with 2 feet and you know, really, you know, embrace working 50 or 60 hours a week during the tax season.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you get time off of the tax season, then you're going to really like taxes. Also, you have to like the workload.
Yeah.
So taxes, accounting, very, you know, it pays well, lots of opportunity. It's difficult work. So that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
You're doing difficult work. You know, you're going to have to work hours, like long hours, especially if you're just getting in the scene.
You're an associate.
But good pay, and then eventually you get your CPA, which is essentially like passing your CPA is like passing the bar for a lawyer.
Yep.
And then once you get that CPA, now you're making on top of a work experience, now you're making bucks.
Yep.
So that's the ultimate like route for a CPA. I'm not sure I want to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't.
That's been my plan for like 10 years. And
you've been thinking about it for 10 years?
After since I was in high school, I was like, you know, I'm like, okay, you know, how am I going to get paid?
That's sick.
Because at a young age, I realized, like, you know, if I want to do the things that I want to do, if I want to start businesses, if I want to buy houses or cars or go traveling, all requires money. So I was like, you know, from a young age, I was like, I gotta get paid.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, maybe it's just growth, maybe it's maturity. Now I'm in a position where I really feel like I want the work that I do to feel valuable, in that, you know, let's say you're, you know, on the New York Stock Exchange and you're a Wall Street guy. Are you making a meaningful difference in the world?
Yeah.
Maybe you are. I don't know. I don't want to judge some guy on Wall Street.
Yeah.
Maybe he is making meaningful change. But for me,
making the world go around.
Yeah, totally.
Stock world at least.
But I feel like for me personally, if I was doing that job, I don't know if I feel like I would be making meaningful change.
Yeah.
Whereas, working for the Small Business Development Center, working for Startup Humboldt, I feel like I'm able to make meaningful change and I'm able to actually see the results of my work.
Yeah.
So I'm as I've grown older, as I've moved away from education into the workforce, I found that the economic development and working with small businesses is a lot more fulfilling and meaningful to me, as opposed to taxes.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Sorry, continue.
No, go ahead. That was pretty much it. Yeah.
Like I see where you're coming from because, unlike other people who go to school here and then just leave, like I really wanted to stay because first of all, I was getting a lot of business out here, so I wanted to, continue the momentum, and seeing the difference it makes, it's like more recognized out here, whereas like if we were working in the SBDC, in like Santa Rosa or San Francisco or whatever, like you're helping out the small business community, but like there's a million other people around you,
Totally.
So it doesn't like the waves don't
Small fish,
or
big
the
pond.
ripples, the ripples don't spread as far when you drop in the water,
Yeah.
Sorry, horrible pun.
No. I like that you brought that up because like that brings another, reason why I think I'm staying in Humboldt. And I don't know how I feel about like admitting this because saying this out loud actually like I don't know what it says about me, but I like being a bigger fish in a small pond as opposed to being a small fish in a big pond.
Exactly.
And
I agree with you. So.
And like, a lot of people would say like, oh, you just want to stay in your small pond and be a big fish. Like, you should jump into the big pond and see what you can do.
Yeah.
Maybe I will one day. I'm not like entirely against it, but like right now, I wouldn't say I'm a big fish here.
Me neither.
I would say we're working, like we get to work for a lot of big fish. Like all the people that we work with here, a lot of them are, big fish.
Maybe when, at some point we'll be recognized more as community leaders here and, that'll just like, it'll eventually just like evolve, so then we'll be helping the next generation come up,
Totally.
So that's why I like being here too. It's, really seeing everything change. And like we were talking about earlier, Startup Humboldt was started 8 months ago, basically.
Yeah.
And I've only been in business for 2 years, 2.5 years. So from what I've done from April 2023 to September 2025, like I can see that changing in 10 years, and I'm like seeing everything flourish, and then we become, we become people that other people go to for advice. I like that whole idea.
Yeah. I feel like I'm doing that at a very small level right now.
Yep.
I am. So
Yeah, you got some clients, huh?
yeah. So for Startup Humboldt, I'm like the building manager and I like rent out the rooms, but that's like a fraction of my job.
Yeah.
It's like one of my roles because it actually doesn't like take that much time. I just have to, it's just something I have to do. But it's not like a full-time workload.
Yeah.
My full-time workload really comes with the SBDC. So I do advising and consulting for small businesses in Humboldt and Delaware County. That's my zone. That's my sector, my region.
We'll put up a picture of the map.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to see it and visualize it.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke runs these top two up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will and I do.
Will and Luke.
Yeah.
Shout out Will.
Yeah, shout out
the
Will.
show as well.
Yeah. And so we also have like a team of like 15 advisors that are like all like part-time. Like some work like a few hours a month, some work like maybe 20 or 30. But like they're a month.
Oh wow.
So they're all like part-time. Most of them have like full-time jobs, and this is just a side gig for them. But they all have like their own little areas of expertise, whether it's HR, bookkeeping, marketing, finance. And, you know, so when I'm working with a client and I'm like, you know, they're having employment hiring troubles, you know, I don't know anything about that. I know a little bit, but I send them to the HR expert.
Yeah.
And then they go work with the HR expert. And then when they're done there, they come back to me, and then I kind of re-engage them, focus their business strategy until we find another, you know, area of expertise that they can work on.
Oh, okay. So you're like the hub, and you send them to like the bookkeeper and the
Exactly.
HR. Okay. You don't help with bookkeeping?
I help with bookkeeping at like a very simple level.
Okay.
So, you know, if you're a sole proprietorship and you're filing your taxes at the end of the year, you're gonna do a Schedule C.
Yep.
And that's super simple. It's just, I mean, there's some more technical items in the Schedule C that you just don't really use if you're like a very simple business.
There's like investments in equity or something.
Yeah. That, like, once somebody starts borrowing money or, you know, doing some, you know, once the finances get a little more complicated, then I want somebody more experienced to work on it, just because I'm 1 year out of school. So I'm like, you know, I'm not really there yet, but like a Schedule C sole proprietorship with like no financing, super easy for me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
from do mine.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's, you know, it's and so like I don't do it for them. I just tell them how to do it, because like technically I can't just do people's taxes.
You're not certified.
I'm not certified. Yeah.
But if you do that, you could just make sure they sign like a waiver, like I'm not responsible if anything goes wrong, and have it verified by an actual CPA.
Yeah. And like I did a little research on like what I can tell people and what I can't tell people, and that's where that's why I won't touch financing.
Yeah.
Like if you borrow money, I'm like, you're working with the bookkeeping expert, because like I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't want that liability.
Yeah, I don't want that liability. But if somebody's like, you know, a landscaper, to make a certain amount of money, spend a certain amount of money, like, oh, it's super simple. Just add them up, find the difference, and then that's what you report as your profit. And so, and like it's easy. I mean, when I say it right here, it's super easy. But like when you actually have to do it, it becomes very complicated.
Yeah, it definitely takes hours.
So I help people create a process to, you know, usually it's just making a business bank account.
Yes.
Once you have that business bank account, it's super easy to like
business bank account.
Yeah. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to start a small business, you know, I recommend start making sales. If you can, you know, if it takes capital to start your business, different story. But if you can bootstrap your business from the ground up, you know, with minimal to no funding, just go for it. You know, and
let's do something here real quick. I'm gonna recommend a couple of our lights just died. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, so the best business bank account is definitely Amex, 100%. Their checking account offers 1.30% cash back.
Whoa.
So if you have $10,000 in your account, you get $130 extra a year.
Amex should be paying you.
Yeah. And then you get points back instead of like, you know, with credit cards where you get points back, you get points back from debit card purchases. But their point system is different than like a Chase or another bank, where Amex, instead of it being like 1-to-1, it's about 70 cents on the dollar. So like each point is worth 70 cents. And that's good. I got rejected from the Amex application. I still haven't reapplied. It's been almost a year. But yeah, I definitely recommend having your money work for you, even if it's in a little small increments, like 1.30% a year. And then obviously Amex has the high yield savings account, which is, I don't know their going rate, but it's like 3.6 right now or something. When I signed up, it was 4.6. Mm-hmm. But I know there's other high yield accounts that offer like 5%. So if you have $10,000, that's $500 extra. I think with Amex right now, it's about $360 extra if you have 10K in there. Mm-hmm. And you get those in monthly increments. So then if you have it all in 1 year, then you get that $360. Yeah. That's how it goes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was guess my little sponsorship there.
Yeah.
My sponsored Amex sponsored me.
They better accept your application after that.
Yeah, my invoice, bro. I'm gonna send you an invoice.
Yeah, you definitely deserve a card.
Yeah. But yeah.
But yeah, basically, I can I can help people with. I mean, it's hard to call it bookkeeping, but I can help people like manage their finances at a basic level.
Yeah.
I am doing bookkeeping training right now.
Nice.
So I'm taking like a course.
Doing QuickBooks?
QuickBooks, yeah. And
Yeah.
so I'm hoping that eventually I can start doing like more, more complicated bookkeeping scopes of work, and just working on my skill set. That's one thing that I'm really trying to focus on right now is just building my skill set, trying to get more comfortable with, bookkeeping, marketing, all these different things that are required to start a business.
Yeah.
That's my goal right now. And one really cool part about this job is it offers a lot of opportunity for professional development. And so, when you go find a job, out of school, that's something that I highly recommend folks, value when they're on the market is, does your employment offer opportunities for growth and development? Because, and this is if you're like, kind of new, just starting your career. Because if they don't, offer growth and development, then you're going to be stuck there. And it's, 5 years, 10 years is going to go by, and you want to be in a position to where you can move up and expand and grow.
Yeah, I don't know why. It must have just been like how old I was at the time. But when everyone in school talked about like going to mixers or like, oh, we're having this business owner come in and talk, I was always very reluctant to go to those mixers and try and network because for some reason I was just like, oh, people will come to me, That's not how the world works, bro. Like you have to go out, you have to make connections, and you have to put in the effort to try and find some work, or else nobody's gonna know about you, and then you'll just be stuck in forever, So
yeah, and I'm very happy to find my job and find employment, and I would have never found my job if I didn't go to those mixers. I went to like 20 or 30 mixers, and only a handful of them did I find opportunity. But if I didn't go to each and every one, I would have missed that opportunity. I might have missed the opportunity to find this job, which I met Will Franklin at a mixer. So yeah, going out and getting the opportunity and hunting for it and grabbing it is really highly encouraged, because if you just wait for it to fall in your lap, it might not ever happen. So.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because you never met Will. So like imagine where you'd be right now if you've never met him. And I haven't made too many notable connections at Startup, like things that have led to like partnerships or like working with them or whatever. But, I would never, like, for example, I would have never met Matt properly if I didn't go up to him in Nancy's class, but I did, and now it's led to opportunities like working with you guys, which is like great. And then that led into more opportunities, like doing this podcast,
totally.
Because I was planning on buying all this equipment and then talking to you guys about using the podcast room. But you guys just happen to have it all. We did some trading, So.
You happen to be like working here, so and like I feel like having, us both being employed here, we're both able to promote and do something for our employment. You know, that's like a really big add-on to doing this podcast, and also all the equipment. That's pretty neat that we get to use all this equipment.
Yeah.
And it's on the house. So.
These are killer, man. I like this equipment.
I'm liking it. Yeah.
I was gonna get this thing, and it came with the pod mics, Rhodes pod mics, and then 2 headphones. So that would have been like a perfect like duo thing. And at the time I was thinking it'd just be like me and then a guest.
Yeah.
But then obviously it evolved. And,
Yeah. I'm down to I'm down to be a Jamie eventually.
like a producer?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
Just because I feel like if you have a guest and you're like kind of like, doing a deep interview and like I feel like I don't want to interject, then I'm gonna just be like, oh, I'm just gonna kind of like lean back and listen,
Yeah. Things can change, so
That's kind of a lot of what I do at like meetings with my work is like I don't have a big speaking role,
Really?
No, because usually people like more experienced and the people above me are doing like talking and telling me how it's done.
Yeah.
And so I'm just I kind of have more of a background role and whatnot. And even with Startup Humboldt meetings, like I'm just kind of like
sitting there.
I'm kind of sitting there. I'm following the meeting, and I have my input, because I have like my, I do a report on,
It's your job to
on my job.
Yeah.
But it's really up to the higher ups to discuss things and make decisions, and like I have my input, but like I'm not like a final decision maker. So I just like. I'm just like looking at data, I'm like creating like reports so that everyone can look at it. And I think that like that goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I think eventually, I'm earning my keep, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. It's all a process. And like when I got here, you guys were talking about me, you guys were like talking about having me like help out and stuff. And I was like hoping that would turn into like a job that I can do like mainly and then do the video stuff on the side. And Will was saying that he would appreciate it if I was the podcast tech, and we were talking about that yesterday. So like if anyone wanted to come in and do the podcast, like I would help them set up all the gear and stuff and like get them going and be like their technician and like maybe help them film it too.
Totally.
So
yeah, that'd be so that'd be that'd be neat.
He told me, he was like, you made yourself indispensable.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, wow.
That's like a big thing that I've learned is that like I'm just trying to absorb as many roles and responsibilities as I can.
Exactly.
And then it makes me a more valuable employee.
Yeah.
Like if like let's say I because I have like time off,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll take a week off. And like during that week, like a lot of the responsibility like in the house kind of falls on Will and other people. And then they're like, that makes them realize like, oh wow, like, if Luke's not here, this, the house is just going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And so being in that position where like, the house is going to fall apart if I'm not here,
that's a good feeling.
It's a good feeling,
Because you ever seen those memes on Instagram where it's like me being like an hour late to my job because they can't fire me?
Yeah. No,
That's
totally.
where you're at.
Yeah. Well, I'm at a point where if I'm an hour late, hell might break loose.
Yeah.
So
you weren't here this morning. I was kind of freaking out.
Yeah.
I was like, where is he?
Yeah. No, I'm able to get time off, but it like has to be like coordinated with Will.
Yeah.
And so.
Because he's your partner in crime, right?
Yeah. And so, but like, when I was gone this morning, like, we had some walk-ins and stuff, and it was like, oh my God.
It was busy this morning.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
So we're, being the front line of Startup Humboldt is definitely, it's definitely a task.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's quite the job.
I bet it's nice though, because like, your role, you're not really fighting to like make it up the ladder or anything.
No.
Like that'll come naturally. And that's like at my old job, I was starting to feel that way because they promised us like raises and like more hours, but then I became the person, even though I was there when they reopened after COVID, I was there the longest. Like anytime hours would be cut, mine would be cut to pretty much zero. And then the last straw for me was being moved to a different location. And then during graduation season time, I was like, I'm gonna take this last week of classes off to focus on graduation. And I'm like, this is my last day. Like, I just told him, I didn't even give him like a 2 week prior. I was like, I'm out of here, bro.
Well,
It was just like,
they're working like minimal hours like that.
yeah, it was just, I just got fed up to a point where I was like, dude, like, I was like, man, I really tried, but then after a while, I just like started to kind of give up a little bit because I knew like my time was coming.
Yeah.
And if they didn't fire me, I was quitting, you know, and vice versa. So, I feel like after the being moved and then my hours being cut from like 15 to 5 hours, I was like, I'm not gonna give a 2 week. Like, I'm just gonna go to graduation season and use that as my excuse to like dip. You know?
Have you ever felt like your business or event deserves more attention? That's where AAA Productions comes in. We don't just make videos, we tell stories. From small businesses to community events, we also do real estate, aerial videography, and so much more. Let us help you stand out with cinematic content that connects with your audience. So, if you're ready to take your brand to the next level, contact me today using the links in the description, and let's make something amazing together. Thank you, and back to the show.
Use your sick hours.
Huh?
Use up all your sick hours.
I was going to, but I should have.
Yeah,
I'll take that one on the chin.
I always do that with like.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done this for like 3 jobs maybe, but like I'm just like, you know, my last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm just like, maybe the last week I'll put in my 2 weeks, and then the last week I'll just call out of like all my sick hours. But I'll like tell my manager, I'll be like I'm not telling you this formally. Like, I'm gonna call out sick for like the next 3 days, and like I'm going to Mexico, something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you know, then like, so just know that like you're gonna have to find someone to cover me, and I'm using all my sick hours because I have them saved up.
Yeah, I think the reason I didn't was because somebody recently used up all their sick hours and quit, so I didn't want to like do that because I was worried that they were gonna say no.
Oh,
Even though I don't think they can say no, but I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, can they say no? But like, my manager was chill, but she's just like, and this was like years ago. She's just like, oh, like, you know, like I don't blame you, but like now, like, cause like then like, you know, now they're paying me and they have to pay something, you know, it's like the but I'm also just like, I want my sick hours.
Was it a small business or like a bigger one?
Tommy Hilfiger.
Oh, really? You worked at Tommy?
Like, it was like an outlet. I was like one of like the sales associates. That was my first job. I worked there when got the job when I was 16 in high school. Worked through community college for 4 or 5 years, and then I left when I was coming up to school here. So I just like so it was like burnt through all my sick hours. And I didn't use my sick hours ever because I was just never sick, you know.
Yeah. So. My first job before college was Red Lobster. Wait, that wasn't my first job. One of my jobs before college was Red Lobster. I loved that job. It was so fun. Like, I always had a blast. The tips were good, and the pay was just like, you know, it was minimum at the time, but that was perfect for me because I was living at home and stuff.
Yeah. No, working when you're young is awesome because there's not like a huge expectation of like, you know, like you're not really like you want to get paid more, but you know, it's not like a big deal because
I also knew I was quitting, so I didn't care if I moved up or not. I was like, I know I'm leaving, and I know that at some point I'm not going to be here, so I'm just going to make these days count. And like, I always enjoyed my job. I was like one of those kids where like I never took my breaks. And I was just always working. It's
good to be working when you're young. It's good to work in the service industry, I feel like, because you learn how to communicate really well.
Yeah.
You know, you learn how to communicate effectively and efficiently.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that like when you're in the service industry, you're trying to handle a large customer load, but you don't want them to feel neglected. So you're handling each customer effectively and efficiently because you don't want to spend too much time on them or else you're not, you know. So I think customer service is great to work with.
Yeah, it taught me a lot. And then when I started my job out here, it was a service industry, so I was just like right back, like just started where I left off, you know. So it worked out. And then that led me to working at another restaurant, 2 restaurants a couple years later, and then, you know, just like it develops. But I feel like my like passion or like compassion and like care for customers have kind of taken a nosedive because of the shit that I had to deal with, working at my old job, bro.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I was just like, Jesus Christ, bro. But yeah,
I think like that's kind of like you need to have like, after years of customer service, like I've grown more comfortable with, disappointed customers or clients. And then, like, at this, when I was 16, I would be so like scared of disappointing the customer that it would affect like my actual service. Whereas
it's always a struggle.
Being able to exonerate yourself from that fear a little bit, and like, it's not like I don't care, but it's not like a worry that's like a cloud over my head, it lets me more like smoothly and more free-flowing attitude towards serving my clients. And I'm not as like I'm not so worried about screwing up that I screw up, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's super common, is sometimes people are so afraid of screwing up that they screw up. And so that happens. I've kind of gotten over that, and I'm like, and so having that experience with clients and like learning like, okay, it's at the end of the it's not the end of the world if I screw up.
I feel like with running your own business, like for me, I've taken a lot more care into client work, like no matter what, because it's all me, like I don't have a manager to fall back on, like I have to make that impression and like make it last.
Exactly.
But like at my old job at Red Lobster, I tried to make every customer as happy as possible. Even if they were being mean, I was like, oh, like no worries. But then at my recent old job, after a while, I was just like, just running and going. Like I was never mean, but if someone was mean to me, I'll just be like I'm sorry about that, but like I don't care,
You're like not, you don't feel as like you're like okay, I'm not gonna save you,
I got tired of it after a while.
No, sure. I feel that.
Because I don't know what happens with customers and like lines where there's registers, but like they lose a lot of functionality.
So if people have to wait in a long line, they get, sometimes it triggers something in them.
They give you the 1,000-yard stare when you tell them that to like come up, and then you'll be like, oh, how are you paying today? And they're like, with money. Like, I know that, but like, what's your form of paying?
Card or cash?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I don't know.
No, I feel that.
People be like losing a lot of their like social ability and like general like logic and common sense in a service. Like
service is just tough. It's rough.
So it's kind of funny though. Me and my coworkers would always laugh about it. Yeah.
Totally. No, that's like it gets you through it. It's the coworkers. You get like you kind of bond over like those client interactions.
Yep.
Like, remember that one guy?
Yeah. But definitely as I've gotten into like a more professional setting and like I take care of my work now, like more prominently than ever, like no matter what, like any client or customer that I may have, I'll always treat them with like the utmost respect, like no matter what.
Totally. And that's the good part about working in customer service, is you learn that. You learn that, like, even though they might not be happy or they might be disappointed and whatever, if you just, kind of be polite and respectful, like it helps a lot.
Yeah.
So well.
Yeah.
I have to get back to it.
Okay. Yeah, we should wrap.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for having me. This has been great.
Wait. Let's restart that. Let's do.
Do you have like an outro in mind?
Yeah, hang on.
Okay. I'll let you cook. Let you cook.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have time for today. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of the first episode of Behind the Redwood Curtain. Thank you again, Luke, for coming on, and I hope we get to co-host some more together and, learn can't talk learn the stories of business leaders here in Humboldt, and kind of just hearing things that we never thought and being able to share it on the internet.
Yeah, this is awesome. This was fun. And
Yeah.
we're definitely going to do it again.
Definitely,
and I think we just got to get some guests.
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think we should try and secure a guest maybe tonight.
Yeah. And then get someone booked for next Thursday.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys again. My name's Andrew from AAA Productions and Behind the Redwood Curtain. This is Luke from Behind the Redwood Curtain and Startup Humboldt.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys like this, make sure to subscribe. Like the video for some more, just like this. And we'll see you guys in the next podcast. Thank you guys very much.